Buen dia. Introduced as a kayaker fairly regularly, but it's not just about kayaking for me. I've actually started off in the mountains and spent everything up until my early 20s simply mountaineering. And so these days I pretty much call myself an adventurer. More than anywhere over the last few years, the poles have influenced my life. In the last 12 years, because I've worked there every year in the north and the south, my thinking about adventure, about exploration, about leadership, and how it is that we might see some way into this uncertain future that we're all facing with climate change and resource consumption. The good thing about these expeditions, of course, is that every single one of them have demanded enormous respect, perseverance, problem solving, humility, and accountability. So the polar regions are a place of change. They've changed me, definitely. They've changed others, and they're changing themselves. This is important to understand. They're unsullied, they're untouched in many ways, we know that. And as a globe, as a species, we have an opportunity now to save these places. The polar regions are important because they're a place that demand accountability. Antarctica, for me, in the South Polar region, is still an incredible place where you have the vital ability to be there and take calculated risk, a vital part of anybody's development. So every day on these expeditions, every day is a judgment. Is this a good idea to leave the beach, knowing that 14 hours of kayaking is ahead of you, and all it takes is the power of the furious 50s to pop up on the southwest coast of South Georgia, and that is it. There is space in the poles, there is space in Antarctica to think and reflect on what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. There is the wildlife. They also teach the lesson that, for instance, the great wandering albatross in its main nesting area in South Georgia every year has a 5% decline in population. And we can even look at it rationally. If it keeps going like it is, they'll just go extinct. To be at sea in that environment, in a kayak, with the orca while they're hunting seals, and to have them pop up, and some of my most incredible experiences. And folks, that is a message. When you've had that message, that, you understand, and it gets in your soul that it's important as a species that we work to save these places. The power is always there, hence the risk-taking and the judgment have to be refined and sophisticated, which is what adventure and the great outdoors offer us, and more importantly, what it offers our children. Folks, it's 2012. We're in a time of compound growth, exponential growth. It's unstoppable at the moment. Resource use, in population, in greed, in pollution, all around the world. We know it. You all know it rationally, that it's not sustainable. I'm sure in 100 years' time, people will look back on us as we are now and say, what were those people thinking? Even though we feel like we're trying our best. We cannot wait for our resources to run out before we discover resourcefulness. And in, those geological time maps where all of geological time is an hour, and the time of humanity is about the last minute. If we, in another million years' time, if we don't do something, our minute, the actual existence of humans on Earth, I'm sure will be about a minute and a half, and then there'll be nothing. We need leaders in government, we need leaders in institutes, and all around the world. The logistics of an Everest expedition, where the loads go, the weights of the gear and all the rest of it, that's logistics. You can manage logistics. You don't lead logistics. If you want to provide leadership, I'm not sure that leadership can be taught. It's an influence process. What I am sure of, though, is that it can be learned through role modeling and the work of educational institutes and everybody here. Even more obvious at the other end of the polar scale is the North Polar region. We're all aware of this. We have rising temperatures all around the globe. This is how things are changing. The green and yellow is sea ice in Baffin Bay between Greenland and Baffin Island. This is from one year, and this is the next year. And of course, we have these poor critters floating around on not very much. I wanted to have explored the poles in a lot of regions, but I wanted to see what happened on the third largest ice cap. An exploration of the giant white, of what it is to have nothing, to just be in nothing. No wildlife, no interesting mountains, and to explore that which I hadn't been into, which was the psychology of nothing. Another part of what I wanted to do on my exploration was to do this alone, to see what it was like in terms of critical decision making, learning about myself and decision making where no one knows where you are and no one can come and help you. And in this particular case, accountability is God, because you or me are the only person who can answer to me. Doing what you can with what you've got. It's a critical value set, folks, for outdoors. The feedback is absolutely critical. You make the decisions with your life. Every time you do that, you're one step closer to the truth. It's definitely not about finding out what you're made of. It's about finding out about what you are made for. Made of is in the here and now. Here and now just passed. It's in the past. Even me saying it, it's gone. We can't bring it back. It's about finding out about what you were made for, means that it's in the future, which is where our leaders have to come from, because we can't save the world. We're not going to be here. In the year 2041, I'll be a lot older, that the moratorium on mining in Antarctica comes up for review. Well, your children will actually get to decide. They'll be in positions of influence in 2041. Do we mine Antarctica? I'm telling you now, the answer is no. The rest of it is their integrity and what it is that they believe in the outdoors. The single biggest question that you can make friends in life with is, can I help? How can I help? And you can do that in Greenland, any nation, anywhere in the world. If you learn to say, how can I help? You are instantly going to be on the road towards progress for us all. Great, thank you.